Hi guys, come on in. Welcome back to Simply Charlease, where new crafters like to hang out. Guys, we got a winner today. Yep, looky. Have you seen these big chunky throws in the stores that cost a small fortune? Yeah, well, we can make this for less than half the price. Okay, if you want to make one, keep watching. Okay guys, the supplies that we're going to need for this project are some Chenille yarn, some Chenille chunky yarn, and our hands. That's it. Now the yarn that I'm using is this mainstay sparkly Chenille yarn. My daughter-in-law told me about this months ago at Walmart. And I went out and I bought 6 skeins of it. And I don't know that I'll need that many, but I wanted to make sure that I had enough for whatever project I decided to do. But I'm hoping that you can see the sparkles in this. She knows that I love anything that sparkles. So when she saw it, she got in touch with me right away. Yep, it is so pretty. All right, guys, let's get started. All right, I've already opened up one. What we're going to do is make a slip knot. And to do that, let's see, I want to make sure that you can see this. All you're going to do, first of all, is tie a little knot at the end of your yarn. Okay, just tie a little knot. Okay. All right, and we're going to call this our tail, and the other side, this is our working yarn, all right? So, to make that slip knot, we're just going to flip it over. I'm trying to look at the camera and look at what I'm doing, okay? And then you're going to pick it up and pull it through to create a slip knot. Can you see what I'm doing? Okay, I'm going to do that again. You just lay your tail down and flip it over. It kind of looks like the breast cancer awareness symbol, right? Then you're going to grab a hold to the working yarn, push it through, and pull it up. And that's your slip knot. And that's your first loop. Now, for the throw that I'm going to make this time, I want it to be a little tighter than the one that I made last time. So I want to make sure that my loops are no larger than my 3 fingers here. Okay, so I need to tighten this loop up a little bit. And you do that by simply pulling on the working side of the yarn, okay? And you see I can get my 3 fingers through there. Okay, so that's about the size of the loops that I want for this project, all right? See that? Okay, I want to make sure that's nice and tight. Okay, and now we're going to be working, let's see, from my left to right. So I want my yarn to be in the direction, my working yarn is going to be to my right because that's the direction that I'm working in. All right, all you're going to do is put your 3 fingers, 2 fingers, whatever you decide, through the loop, your first loop, and then push your working yarn through, and now you've created a second loop. And what we're going to be doing is making a chain, okay? All right, and that's what you would be doing if you were actually knitting with needles, but in this case, our fingers are going to be our needles. All right, and that's, you just keep doing that, pushing it through and pulling it. Pick up the working yarn, pull it through the loop. And you want to try, keep checking, you want to try to make your chain about the same size, okay? Each loop in the chain. Working yarn through the loop. Working yarn through the loop. And I'm going to do, I don't know, maybe 20, I think I'm going to do about 24. I'll see what 24 looks like because I have an idea of how long I want my throw to be or how wide I want it to be because this is going to be the width of my blanket. Okay, you see what we got there? It looks like we're making something, huh? We're just taking our working yarn and pulling it through the loop. Working yarn, pull it through the loop. Working yarn, pull it through the loop. You know, I was looking at some other videos for making these Chenille blankets, and they're different designs. I think this is probably one of the simplest that's out there, but I think I'm going to venture out into some of the others. Let's see how many loops in our chain now. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Let's see. I'm gonna do a couple of more. I want my blanket to be a little bit on the wide side. And that's one of the reasons why I got 6 skeins, because I didn't know how big I was gonna make this. Yeah, let's see. And I'm going 2 more. Go big or go home. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop there. Okay. So you got one single long chain. Okay. And what you're going to do now, you're going to flip it over. And this is the only time that you're going to flip this project at all. Okay. Now we're going to be working from my right to my left. So I'm going to move my yarn over to my left side because I'm going in that direction. Now you could work with it on the other side, but it just seems to move smoother if you do that, okay? Now, let's see, get it at the end. Now this very last loop here, you're not going to put any yarn. I don't know how to even say this. You're going to just leave that hanging, okay? All right, now, what you're going to do, though, let's see, I'm hoping that you can see. On each one of these stitches, is what I'm going to call it, there's, I'll say 3 parts, the top, the middle, and the bottom. Now, what we're going to be doing is grabbing the middle, and that's where we're going to run our working yarn through. Okay, so this is the first one. Okay, right there. And you want to stick your finger through that and pull your working yarn through. Okay, and be careful that you don't lose this this loop. All right. And there's your first loop. Whoop, there's your first loop. All right. We're going to go in the next hump. That middle hump. Pull your working yarn through and make your second loop. Can you see that? Stick your finger through the next. Pull your working yarn through. and there's another loop. Now you see you've made 3 loops and you've left the one, the very last loop unattended. I'll say, I don't claim to be a knitter, so I don't really know the jargon, but you can see what I'm doing. All right, I'm sticking my finger through the next hump. I heard one one lady that was making it, she called them the humps, so that's what I'm gonna call it. Pull your working yarn through to make another, and you're gonna do this all the way down to the end. Okay. I don't think you're gonna, because I'm not that fast at it. You probably won't want to watch me do this whole thing. And make sure that you go back periodically and check and try to make sure that your loops are pretty close to the same size, okay? Going through the next one, let's see. Where is it? There we go. And pull your working yarn through. I'm trying to look at what I'm doing and then look up at the camera too to make sure that that I'm in view. Okay. And the next one. See, I'm just going to do a couple of more on camera, and then I'll go and finish this row, and then I'll come back and show you what you need to do when you get to the end, okay? Because I don't want to suffer you guys to watch this, watch me stumble through this. But I'm telling you, it is really easy. It's really easy. This is only the second one that I've made. So you know, I'm stumbling a little bit, but you get the idea. Okay? So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna finish this row out and then I'll be back, okay? Okay guys, so I made it from one end to the other. All right? And now we're gonna go in the opposite direction. So I'm going to move my working yarn to the other side. And like I said, that first loop, you always leave it. You let it hang, okay? And you'll see why later. All right, so now we're going to go in the other direction. Our working yarn is behind, and we're just going to pull the loop through. Okay. You see what we got? And we're just gonna go down the row, pulling the loops through. All right, come on. Pulling them through. And keep checking to kind of make sure that your loops are staying in place and they're pretty much the same size. Okay, the same size. You're pulling the working yarn through the loop. I mean, and it goes fast. That first row, that chain in the first row, that takes you the longest, I think. But one thing, you know, you haven't gotten into your zone yet. All right. You see that? Okay. Just keep coming on down. Yeah. And we're doing this with our hands, guys. Isn't this the coolest thing? Let's see. Okay, that loop is a little smaller. Okay. And like I said, keep an eye on it, because you want to make sure that your loops are, and they're not going to be perfect. This is handmade, you know. It's not like with a machine that's set to do perfect 2 inches or whatever. You see how much faster this row is going? And they all go pretty fast after you do that first row. that chain and then the first row. I hope I'm staying in the frame. But if not, you can see how simple this is. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, so you remember that first loop that we had and we left it hanging. Now is when you're gonna pick it up, okay? And that becomes your first loop on the next row. Now that one is the one, can you see that? I picked up, let me show you again. You had this loop from the first row hanging. You didn't join it, okay? Now you're gonna pick it up and make a loop. All right? Now, when you go back, we get ready to go back in the opposite direction. When you go back in the opposite direction, you're gonna let that loop that you just made, you're gonna leave that one. You're gonna let it hang, okay? And then you'll go to the second loop. All right? And then head on down in the opposite direction. Okay? And then when we go all the way down and come back, then we'll pick this one up. You always leave that last loop or first loop, whichever one you want to call it. You leave it hanging and you pick it up when you come back, okay? I'll do a couple of more on camera because I'm sure that you guys have got the gist of how this works. Yeah? Can you see that? Yeah, it's beginning to look like something, like, I don't know, a scarf maybe? Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, I'm going to go down to the other end and I'll come back. I'm at the other end, and remember the loop that we left hanging? Now we're going to pick it up. Okay, and we're going to do that every time we get to the end. We're going to pick up that loop that we left hanging. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to go as far as I can with this skein, and then I'll come back and show you how to join the next skein. Okay, so I finished that first skein, and this is all I have left. So now I'm ready to connect the next skein. So what you want to do is put a little knot at the end of the one that you've been working with. And I've already put a little knot in the next working skein. And all you're going to do is just make a little knot, joining those two together. And even though you see this like this little bunched up thing here, when it gets lost in this blanket, this is so soft you won't feel it and you won't see it. So you just continue. All right, knot and all. Let me show you. Let me show you. Okay, and that knot is there, but I assure you, you cannot feel it. And when you finish it, you can't see it. I'll go back and I'll tuck it. All right, that's all you have to do to tie the next batch of working yarn. Sorry guys. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going until I've used all of my my yarn, or I'll get to the size that I want, and then I'll be back. But one thing I want you to remember is always leave that last link or that first link unattended and pick it up when you get to the other end, okay? All right, guys, I'll be back. Okay, guys, I thought I'd check in and let you see my progress. I'm just about to add my last skein of yarn, and there was a couple of things that I wanted to mention. One being, if at all possible, set your project up on a table or something where you can sit down, because I've been standing for a bit and my back's hurting a little bit. So if you can set yours up to where you can sit down at your dining table or something, that would be great. And the other thing is, as you run out of space, you want to roll it under as you go. Okay. Was there anything else? Oh, and the you know how I told you that you needed to make a knot on the end of your skein so that it wouldn't unravel. And I got that information from, YouTube. So I don't know if that's true or not. But I should have, wait a minute, if I can find the end of this, I'll show you. Okay, here we go. Because I'm getting ready to tie my last skein. And so I decided, instead of putting a knot in each one, that I would just tie it in a knot together, really tight, and then pull it. And that's not going anywhere. I'm not sure why the particular YouTuber that I was looking at said that you needed to tie a knot in both. And then what I did was I cut the excess on both sides, and you're left with a lot less bulk, okay? And you definitely are not going to feel that. All right, so now I'm on my last skein. Now when I get closer to the end, I'll come back and show you how to finish this off. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. All right, guys, I'll be back. All right, guys, we're coming in for the home stretch. I've done all 6 of my skeins, and it is recommended that in order to finish off your throw, that you should have the length of your width 3 times left. Okay, so I have, I'm gonna go back 1 and 2. Let's see if I have 3 left. Oh yeah, I got just about perfect. The length, the width of my my throw, I have this 3 times. Okay. All right. So I think this is called casting off. For you people who really knit, you probably know that, whether or not I'm saying that right. Whoops. I hope I can do this where you can see it. Okay. All right. You want your working yarn to go in the, oh, this is going to be hard, guys, because it's so big now. You want your working yarn to go, I'm going from right to left. So I want my working yarn to be going towards the left, because that's the direction I'm going in. Okay. We want to pick up two loops, 1, 2. You see that? And then you take your working yarn and pull it through. All right. Now you have 1. Now you're going to pick up another loop. Now you have 2. Oh, wait a minute. You need to make sure your working yarn stays in the back. Pick up 1. Now you have 2 again. Pull your working yarn through. Okay. Now you have 1. Make sure your working yarn is in the back. Pick up your next loop. You have 2. Pull through your working yarn. Now you have 1. Pick up another one. Pick up another loop. Your next loop. Pull your working yarn through. You have 1 loop. Now, pick up another loop, pull your working yarn through, and you have one. And you see, this is what you're going to get. That's going to be the finished look. Okay? All right, so I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to finish this, and then I'll be back. Okay, guys, I'm back. I'm down to the last 3 loops, and I'll be finishing it off. Okay, I have 2 loops on my finger. Take my working yarn, pull it through. Now I have 1, and now I'm picking up the last loop on my project. Okay, got 2. Where's my working yarn? Oops, sorry. You have to make sure that working yarn is in the back. All right. Now I'm picking up the last loop. Now I have 2. I'm pulling through my working yarn, and now I just have 1 loop left. Oh, I forgot to tell you that you remember I said that you needed 3 lengths of your project in order to be able to cast it off. Well, I was about, where's my hand? About that much short. So I had to unravel a whole row. So I ended up with a little bit more. I couldn't finish it. I couldn't figure out how could I make this work, but I couldn't. So I had to unravel it. Anyway, all right, so we got 1 loop, and now we're going to take the working yarn, pull it through, and it's pretty long now because I had, okay, and we're going to tie that off. You see that? Okay, now I'm going to cut some of this off because we're going to weave this through the blanket, but we don't want that much to have to weave through. So hold on a second. Okay. All right. We want to tie a knot. I can see why you would need to tie a knot here because you don't want this to fray. Okay. And then we're just going to weave it down the back of the project, okay? Can you see? Okay, I'm just taking the tail and I'm just kind of...
Hey, Lisa. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry guys, my husband came in to say something to me. And anyway, we're going to just weave this down the side, okay? Just weave it in and around, and you won't even be able to see it. And it just gets lost. Okay, see that? All right, and that is a done deal, guys. Oh, it's so big. I can't get it all in the frame for you to see it all at once, but it is absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. And it's so soft. I'm trying to, and the reason that you drop this last stitch on every row and then pick it up on the way back is so that you can get this finished look on the sides. Okay? If you don't do that, then you end up with like raw edges. Okay? Let's see. I want to show you the top. Oh yeah, and here's where we began. So I need to weave that into the side too. Let's see. Let's just weave it through and wrap it around. This stuff is so soft. Oh my goodness, I love this. I can't hardly wait to snuggle up in under this. Yeah. Okay. And it doesn't distort the way the blanket looks when you do that. Okay, guys, I can't really get the whole blanket in the frame, but you can kind of see what it looks like. Nice and big, and I used all 6 skeins. Now, I'm going to try to remember to link the yarn. I don't think this is available, the one with the sparkles in it. I don't think it's available anymore, but there is a pretty white and pink and blue, you know, some different yarns that you might want to use on the Walmart link. I'll try to remember to link that in the description box. So look for that. And if I should forget to put it in there, in the comments, if you would, just say you didn't put the link to the yarn, and I'll go back and I'll put it in, but I'll try to remember. Let's see, is there anything else that I want to tell you? Other than the fact that you can make this much smaller and make it a baby blanket. It would be a great gift for a baby shower, Mother's Day, birthday. You could make up a bunch of these for Christmas or just because. And the other one that I made just for decor. It wasn't even to use as a blanket. And it looks so pretty at the foot of my bed or thrown across the couch or whatever. I'm going to go and see if I have some big ribbon so I can show you how, if you're making this for a gift, you can wrap it up, okay? I'll be back. Okay, guys, I went and grabbed some of my Dollar Tree ribbon. This is some leftover from Christmas. It's red and it has some silver sparkle to it, which is perfect for this particular project. But I just wanted to show you what you can do once you finish your project. If you're giving it as a gift, just wrap a bow on it, put a tag on it. This is not a very pretty bow, but I just want to give you an idea of what it would look like, you know, presentation. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This was a fun project. And guys, I know I saw videos where the people were saying that they could do them in 45 minutes. I don't think they were as big as this. It took me about 2.5 hours to do this. Okay, which I think 2.5 hours, and I'm a rookie because keep in mind I've only done this once before. 2.5 hours, and this is the finished product. I'm rather pleased. Don't mind that bow, but yeah. So guys, go out and let me show you again. If you're in Walmart, this is the yarn. Let's see. Can you see that? It's the Mainstay brand, Chanel. Okay, and it sells for about $6.74, something like that. It's less than $7 a skein. So if you were gonna make a smaller blanket, it would be much, much cheaper. And any blanket that you make is going to be much cheaper than those in the store, I guarantee you. Not to mention the pride of having made it yourself. So try it. I think it's an easy project, okay? 2.5 hours, 3, if you're your first time around, okay? And be easy on yourself. You don't have to finish the project in one day. You could do a little bit and then go and work on it another day, all right? Make it fun. All right, guys. I will see you next time. Bye, guys.